Mornings in New York are always full of energy. I, Jennifer Aniston, wake up to the sunlight streaming through the window. Looking at my husband George Clooney, quietly breathing beside me, warms my heart. Married for 10 years, he has always been my support. I slip out of bed and quietly head to the kitchen. While preparing breakfast, I glance at the family photos on the wall. A picnic in Central Park, watching a musical on Broadway, and Noah's 5th birthday party. Each photo overflows with our family's happiness. Mom! Noah's cheerful voice comes from upstairs. His smile brightens the start of my day. Good morning, Noah. Today's breakfast is your favorite pancakes, I call out, and Noah's eyes light up. George wakes up too, gently greeting us with, "Good morning, my loves." At 55, he's still charming and full of confidence as a successful real estate agent. But what I love even more is his devotion to family. During breakfast, we make plans for the weekend. How about a picnic in Central Park this Saturday? George suggests. Noah jumps up and down with joy. Yay! Dad, push me on the swings. I smile and remind them, but remember, Saturday morning is volunteer day. You haven't forgotten, have you? Reading to children at the local community center is one of my cherished activities. I've made many acquaintances in the neighborhood through this work. Of course I remember, Jenny, George answers. I'm proud of your activities. We can enjoy our picnic in the afternoon. Although George is successful in his work, he values family time. We make it a habit to spend every weekend together. I'm always filled with gratitude for his attitude. After breakfast, I see Noah off to kindergarten and start preparing for my volunteer work. As I select books and practice reading aloud, I'm enveloped in a pleasant sense of fulfillment. In the evening, George returns from work. When I ask, "How was your day?" he answers with a smile, "It went well. A new project has started. But the best part is coming home to see you all." Over dinner, we share the events of our day as a family. Noah talks about his adventures with friends at kindergarten, George about his success at work, and I share heartwarming experiences from volunteering. This daily routine is our happiness itself. Before bed, as I read a picture book to Noah, I think, may this happiness last forever. Before going to sleep, George and I relax in the living room. Jenny, I'm really happy I married you, George says. I squeeze his hand back. I feel the same, George. I love our family. As I lie in bed, I wish for another wonderful day tomorrow. I believe that these happy days for our family will continue on and on. A few days have passed since our weekend picnic in Central Park, and peaceful days continued. On a morning that seemed no different from usual, George woke up unusually early. "Good morning, Jenny," George's voice made me turn around, and he was smiling with an unusually nervous look. "What's the matter?" "You're up so early," I asked, and George took a deep breath and said, "Actually, how about dining out with the family tonight?" Dining out? That's unusual, I was a little surprised. We usually ate at home most of the time. Yes, I made a reservation at per se. George's words made my eyes widen. Per se is one of the finest restaurants in New York. It's a place we only go on special occasions. Per se. But is today some kind of anniversary? I tried desperately to remember, but no special day came to mind. George laughed softly and answered, "Do we need a special reason? I just want to spend some luxurious time with the family." Those words filled my heart with warmth. I felt renewed gratitude for my husband, who made such special arrangements for the family amidst our busy daily lives. "Noah will be thrilled," I said, imagining our son's sleeping face. During breakfast time, we announced the surprise to Noah. "We're going to a special dinner tonight," I said, and Noah's eyes lit up with joy. "Yay! Are we going for pizza?" Noah's innocent reaction made me and George laugh. "No, somewhere even nicer." "So we need to dress up with Dad," I gently patted Noah's head. All day long, my heart was bouncing with anticipation. Even during volunteer activities, I couldn't help but wonder. Why did George suddenly make such a proposal? Is there something special happening? After returning home, we started getting ready. I chose Noah's favorite little suit. "Mom, do I look cool?" Noah asked, and my heart melted. "Of course. You're the coolest in the world," I answered proudly. While choosing my own clothes, I pause in front of the mirror. My eyes suddenly catch my wedding ring. I remember the day George proposed to me 10 years ago. The joy and excitement from that time seemed to resurface. Could it be? I whispered to myself. A feeling that something special might happen tonight makes my heart flutter. George is also quietly preparing. There's an air about him as if he's hiding some secret. But I have no idea what it could be. "Ready?" George's voice brought me back to reality. "Yes, I'm all set," I answer with a smile. Before leaving the house, we stood in front of the mirror. George in his suit, me in my dress, and Noah in his little suit. Seeing the three of us together, I was filled with happiness. "Well, shall we go?" George said. There was a slightly different tone to his voice than usual. As we got into the taxi, I prayed in my heart. May tonight be an unforgettable, wonderful night for our family. As we got out of the taxi, the elegant exterior of Per Se came into view. Noah, looking excited, pulled our hands with his small ones. "Mom, Dad, let's go in quickly." The hostess who greeted us at the entrance smiled warmly. "Mr. and Mrs. Aniston, we've been expecting you." Her polite demeanor made me feel the high class of this place. We were guided to a luxurious private room. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, we could see a panoramic view of New York at night. Noah's eyes sparkled as he exclaimed, "Wow, amazing." As we sat down, a waiter brought us menus. George seemed a bit restless, checking his phone several times. Usually, he doesn't worry about work during dinner, but today he seems different. "Is something wrong?" I asked, and George hurriedly put away his phone. No. It's fine." just a case I'm a bit concerned about. I felt a little uneasy, but I didn't want to ruin the pleasant atmosphere. I see, but today is family time. Let's forget about work. George nodded with a smile, but I could sense some tension in his expression. When the food was served, Noah's eyes widened in surprise. "Mom, what's this?" He pointed at the beautifully plated foie gras. "This is a special dish. Want to try it?" I explained, and Noah took a cautious bite. "It's delicious," he smiled. As the meal progressed, George's restlessness became more noticeable. He checked his phone several times and occasionally let out deep sighs. I was concerned but didn't want to ruin this special night. It might be a work emergency, I told myself, trying not to worry too much. Instead, I focused on Noah's enjoyment. His innocent delight in the high-class cuisine warms my heart. "Mom, this meat is so tender." Noah's exclamation made both George and me smile. In this moment, I strongly feel our family's happiness. However, this happy mood didn't last long. As dessert time approached and the waiter brought the menu, Noah's eyes sparkled as he chose a chocolate parfait. "I'm going to the restroom for a moment," George stood up. As he left the table, a strange uneasiness welled up inside me. Suddenly, a young waiter approached me. His name tag read Matt. Matt looked around cautiously before whispering to me in a trembling voice. "Ma'am, you need to leave immediately. Your husband." I was shocked and almost cried out. Matt's serious expression told me this was no joke. "What do you mean?" I asked in a low voice. My heart was pounding furiously. Matt took a deep breath and started speaking carefully, as if choosing his words. "Please listen. Your husband is having an affair. And tonight, he plans to." His words made my mind go blank. "An affair? George? It can't be. We've built a happy home together." But suddenly, George's recent behavior flashes through my mind. Frequent phone checks, restless attitude. "How do you know all this?" I asked, trying desperately to stay calm despite my confusion. Matt continued with an apologetic expression. I'm a former intern at your husband's company. By chance, I started working here part-time, and today, I overheard your husband's conversation." Various thoughts were swirling in my head. Disbelief, fear, sadness, and anger. It felt like the trust we had built over the years was crumbling in an instant. But why tonight, us? The words caught in my throat. Matt shifted uncomfortably. "I don't know the details, but your husband's new partner found out about your existence." At that moment, I heard Noah's voice. "Mom, the parfait is delicious." Brought back to reality, I quickly turned to Noah with a smile. "Is that so? I'm glad you like it." Matt hurriedly tried to leave, but I grabbed his arm. "Wait, what should I?" "Ma'am, there's no time. You need to leave right now. I've called a taxi. It's waiting outside," Matt said with a serious look. Confused but determined, I looked at Noah. His innocent smile made me resolve. I must protect my son. Noah, hurry. We're leaving now, I said in a calm voice. But what about Dad? Noah looked puzzled. Dad will come later. Come on, let's go. I took Noah's hand and stood up. As Matt escorted us out, my head was full of confusion. Is this really happening? George, whom I've been with for years, is. Disbelief, fear, and sadness mixed together. Just before leaving the restaurant, I looked back and saw George returning from the restroom. Our eyes met, and he looked confused. At that moment, I felt like something decisive broke inside me. As we got into the taxi, I took a deep breath. What should I do now? But there's one thing for certain. Protecting Noah, that's the only thing I can do right now. As the taxi started moving, I hugged Noah tightly. It's okay, Noah. Mom will protect you. As the taxi started moving, my head was caught in a whirlwind of confusion. Next to me, Noah asked, Mom, why isn't Dad coming? But I couldn't find the right words. Noah, Mom needs to talk to you about something. Dad is going to be late because of work, I answered with a forced smile. Noah looked a bit disappointed but soon became distracted by the night scenery outside the window. Taking advantage of this, I instructed the driver to the west side of Central Park. As the taxi drove quietly, my phone started ringing. George's name appeared on the screen. A feeling of tightness gripped my chest. Ignoring the call, I opened a message from Matt instead. Please contact me when you reach a safe place. I'll explain in detail. Taking a deep breath, I replied, understood. We're heading to the west side of Central Park now. After a while, Matt called. I spoke in a low voice so Noah couldn't hear. Matt, please tell me everything in detail. On the other end of the phone, Matt hesitated a bit before starting to speak. Actually, I worked at George's company. I quit 6 months ago, but that's when I noticed his affair. I gasped. Since 6 months ago? Yes. At first, I thought I was imagining things, but his behavior was clearly odd. And today, I accidentally overheard his phone call at the restaurant. Each of Matt's words stabbed at my heart. My husband's betrayal after years together. And the danger to us. Everything was becoming real. George's new partner, she found out about our existence, didn't she? I said in a trembling voice. Yes. And it seems she gave George an ultimatum. His family or her. With those words, something inside me crumbled decisively. All our happy days might have been a lie. The thought brought tears to my eyes. However, looking at Noah's drowsy face next to me, I steeled my resolve. This is not the time to be swept away by emotions. My son's safety is the top priority. Matt, thank you. What should I do now? Matt answered in a calm voice. First, find a safe place to stay. Then, I recommend consulting a lawyer as soon as possible, perhaps tomorrow. After hanging up, I looked at Noah again. His innocent sleeping face aroused a strong protective instinct in me. It's okay, Noah. Mom will protect you. As the taxi arrived at the west side of Central Park, I took a deep breath and considered my next step. I could feel that my life was about to change dramatically. After getting off at the west side of Central Park, I headed without hesitation to my best friend Sarah's house. Sarah seemed surprised by our late-night sudden visit, but she seemed to grasp the situation immediately upon seeing my expression. "Jenny, are you okay? What happened?" At Sarah's worried voice, I finally let my tears flow. After putting Noah to sleep in the spare room, I told Sarah everything in the living room. George's betrayal, Matt's warning, and our current situation. "I can't believe it." Sarah was speechless. "But you can stay here. For as long as you need." Her words brought me some relief. However, from that moment, persistent phone calls and messages from George began. "Jenny, where are you? Why did you suddenly disappear? Is Noah safe? Please contact me immediately. What's going on? Let's talk." Each message disturbs my heart. Even though they're words from someone I've trusted for years, now they all sound like lies. Sarah put her hand on my shoulder. "Don't reply. Let's consult a lawyer first." The next morning, I met with Lisa Green, a female lawyer Sarah introduced me to. After calmly listening to my story, Lisa gave me advice. "First, let's start the divorce proceedings. And depending on George's actions, we might consider a restraining order." I exhaled deeply. Divorce. Saying that word still doesn't feel real. And gathering evidence is crucial. Messages from George and Matt's testimony could be useful, Lisa continued. From this day, it felt like my new life had begun. While staying at Sarah's house, I kept in touch with Lisa and proceeded with the necessary steps. I still haven't told Noah the whole truth. I've only given him a simple explanation: Dad has gone away for a while. Every time I see his innocent smile, my heart aches. A few days later, a restraining order was finally issued. George can no longer approach us. This ensures temporary safety, but the wounds in my heart don't seem easy to heal. At night, after putting Noah to bed, I look out at the New York night view and think. The determination to raise my son alone from now on. And the courage to overcome lost trust. Everything is uncertain and scary, but there's one thing for sure. Protecting Noah and making him happy. That's my only mission now. A week has passed since we took refuge at Sarah's house. Although Noah is confused by the new environment, he's slowly starting to adapt. Every day, I keep in touch with Lisa the lawyer, preparing for the divorce. One morning, I received a call from Lisa. "Jennifer, there's important information. The woman who seems to be George's partner has contacted us. She wants to talk to you." I gasped. "With her? But why?" Lisa explained carefully, choosing her words. "Her name is Amy. She's apparently a young employee at George's company. She seems to want to know the truth too. I hesitated. Would meeting Amy hurt me even more? But I felt the need to know the whole truth. All right. I'll meet her. Through Lisa's mediation, we agreed to meet at a cafe near Central Park as a neutral location. On that day, I nervously headed to the cafe. Amy looked younger than I had imagined. She was a woman with blonde hair tied back and a calm demeanor. Jennifer, I'm sorry we're meeting like this. Amy's voice was trembling. I took a deep breath, trying to maintain my composure. Amy, please tell me what happened. Amy started speaking with tears in her eyes. George told me that you were mentally unstable and unfit to raise Noah. He was trying to create a new family with me and Noah. Those words made my heart ache. However, sadness was greater than anger. You were deceived too, weren't you? Amy nodded. But recently, I realized George's true nature. He was manipulating both of us. He was trying to make you look like the bad guy and use me. Amy took out some documents from her bag with trembling hands. Please look at this. I nervously looked through the documents. What was written there was unbelievable. A detailed plan for George and Amy to gain custody of Noah. And even a plan to make me appear mentally unstable and ultimately eliminate me by staging an accident. He was really trying to kill us. My voice trembled. Amy nodded tearfully. George was planning to mix sleeping pills into the meal at the restaurant. And then on the way home, with a manipulated car. She choked on her words. I pressed my shaking hand to my forehead. To think that the person I loved had made such a terrifying plan. Thinking of Noah, I felt a chilling fear run down my spine. But why did you? At the last moment, my conscience hurt. Amy covered her face. I couldn't bear the thought of killing you and Noah. Knowing this horrible truth, we felt an even greater need to stop George's actions. We talked for a long time. Amy revealed that George had been committing fraud at the company and disclosed the full extent of his lies. At the end of our discussion, we made an unexpected decision. To cooperate and reveal all of George's lies and manipulations. Over the next few weeks, Amy and I kept in frequent contact. With Lisa's advice, we gathered evidence of George's wrongdoings. Testimonies from colleagues and business partners, records of inappropriate financial transactions. Bit by bit, the truth was coming to light. Noah still asks about his father. When is Dad coming home? Each time, it pains my heart, but I try to explain as gently as possible. Dad is far away right now. But he's thinking of you, Noah. When we felt we had grasped the whole truth, we decided to confront George. We chose Bryant Park, a famous park in New York City, as the location. We selected it for being neutral and public. On that day, Amy and I arrived at the park early. As the pleasant autumn breeze blew, we waited quietly. When George appeared, his expression was a mix of surprise and anger. What's this? Amy, why are you here? I took a deep breath and started speaking calmly. George, we know everything now. Your lies, your manipulations. George flinched for a moment but quickly tried to cover it up. What are you talking about? I didn't. However, as Amy and I presented one piece of evidence after another, George's expression gradually changed. Evidence of fraud at the company, traces of his double life, and his numerous lies. George, it's over. Our marriage, all your lies, I said with a resolute attitude. George tried to argue for a moment, but he seemed overwhelmed by our determination. Jenny, It's too late, George. We're starting a new life. Without you. After this confrontation, the divorce proceedings went surprisingly smoothly. George seemed to have given up fighting and admitted to all the facts. On the day the court's decision was handed down, I was filled with mixed emotions. The judge granted Jennifer full custody of Noah and ordered George to pay appropriate child support. After the judgment, I met George's eyes in the hallway. There was a hint of regret in his eyes, but there was no going back now. Can I see Noah? George asked in a small voice. I thought for a moment before answering. For Noah's sake, yes. But let's take it slow. We need to put his feelings first. That night, as I put Noah to bed, my chest was full of expectations and anxiety for our new life. Mom, is Dad never coming back? Noah's innocent question made me smile gently. Dad, we'll be living in a different place now. But he loves you very much, Noah. Things will be different from now on, but we can be happy. Hugging Noah, I made a vow. No matter what difficulties lie ahead, I will protect this child and make him happy. That's the beginning of our new life. Looking out at the New York night view through the window, I took a deep breath. The road ahead won't be easy. But now I have courage and strength. And above all, I have my beloved son. Well, it's the start of a new adventure, I whispered. With those words, I felt a warm light of hope ignite in my heart. The gentle spring sunshine softly illuminates the greenery of Central Park. Sitting on a picnic blanket, I watch Noah playing in the distance. He's throwing a frisbee with his new friends, his smile as radiant as the sun. Noah, come here. The sandwiches are ready. I call out, and Noah runs over energetically. Mom, did you see? I could throw it really far. That's amazing. I was watching you, I gently stroke his head. While Noah munches on his sandwich, I call my friend Sarah. Jenny, how are you? Sarah's voice warmly resonates. I'm doing well, really. It was tough, but I'm truly happy now. Noah is doing great too. After hanging up, I look at Noah once more. He's enjoying his lunch with a satisfied expression. This past year has been full of challenges. But these peaceful moments I spend with Noah seem to heal everything. Mom, what are we going to play next? Noah's question makes me smile. Well, what would you like to do? The swings. I want to ride with you, Mom. All right. Let's go. Taking Noah's hand and heading towards the swings, I whisper to myself. It feels like our new life has finally begun. As we ride the swings, soaring towards the sky with Noah, the sensation of cutting through the air feels like a leap into the future. Having overcome difficulties, living in this moment. Just that alone fills my heart with happiness.